Imagine waking up one morning to the federal marshals knocking at your door, not for an arrest, but to seize your property. Now, picture that property being worth hundreds of millions of dollars this morning. That's exactly what happened at Mar-a-Lago. But this isn't just about the property or even the person involved. It's about something far bigger. It's about a system that's supposed to hold people accountable. But when it doesn't, we all lose. Stick around, because what I'm about to reveal changes everything you think you know about justice. Here's the thing, this isn't a one-off event, it's part of a pattern, and not just any pattern, one that has repeated itself over and over. Federal marshals arriving to seize assets isn't new, but when the assets are worth hundreds of millions and the person involved has been dodging the system for years, it tells us something. You might be wondering, how could something like this happen to someone who's been claiming immunity for so long? Let me show you. We're not just talking about one lawsuit or even two, we're talking about 3 major court judgments in just a few months. 3 times the same pattern. Delay, deny, don't pay, and this time they crossed the line. The first judgment, $83 million, a defamation case, January 2024. The verdict was clear, the money owed was real, and the deadline was set. What happened next? Nothing, no payment, just silence. Then came the second judgment, $355 million plus interest, a fraud case, February 2024. Same response, no payment, just appeals. Appeals are legal, sure, but they don't erase the debt. They just delay it. And here's where it gets even worse. The third judgment, $91 million, another defamation case, March 2024. By now, we're looking at over $500 million in court-ordered judgments, and yet no payment. No accountability, just delay after delay. But this time, the system is fighting back. This isn't just a slow burn anymore. It's escalating fast. And this isn't an isolated incident. This is part of a much bigger trend. Imagine this. A person with enough resources to endlessly delay paying what they owe. That's exactly what's happening here. We've seen similar tactics before. Powerful people dodging responsibility, using every trick in the book to avoid accountability. But what's different this time? The scale. A property like Mar-a-Lago getting seized is a statement, and it's not just about this one asset. This is about a system that's been tested, and right now it's starting to crack. How long can the legal system let this go on before it fails for everyone else? Now, things are getting even more intense. The next piece of evidence, the contradiction between words and actions. We're talking about an individual who's been fighting these judgments every step of the way. But what does that really say? It's one thing to delay, but it's another thing entirely to flat out ignore the law. That's what makes this different. This isn't just about failing to pay, it's about sending a message. The system doesn't always work, not when there's enough power to bend it. And here's where it flips. The law is being tested. What happens when someone with enough money and influence doesn't just break the rules, but rewrites them? But this is where it gets wild. The pressure is mounting. First, we've got the marshals stepping in, seizing assets. Then there's the looming threat of auctioning off the property. And while all this is unfolding, the appeals keep coming. Yeah, that's one crisis. But here's the next. What if this sets a precedent? What if every wealthy individual watching this thinks they can play the same game? They delay, they deny, they use their money to drag things out. Now picture this. What happens if the system can't enforce its own decisions? What happens when powerful people get to play by different rules? The stakes are getting higher by the second. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about rich people playing the system. This impacts you. Yes, you. Because when the law doesn't work for everyone equally, it sets the stage for injustice on a massive scale. Think about it. If you're a small business owner and you win a judgment, but the other party refuses to pay, you need the system to work. If someone defrauds you and gets away with it, you need to trust that a court ruling matters. But when the powerful can just ignore court decisions, it's not just their problem, it's everyone's. If you've ever felt like the system's not built for people like you, this is why. When the wealthy can delay forever, it undermines the very idea of justice. This is bigger than one person, one property, or one lawsuit. This is about a system that's supposed to be fair, but is now showing cracks. Why? Because it's not just the actions of one person causing this, it's the system that enables it. The reason this keeps happening? Leverage, incentives, spectacle, fear. The powerful know how to use all of these to bend the system to their will, and that's what we're seeing here. The legal system works when everyone plays by the same rules. But what happens when it's not about playing by the rules? What happens when the system starts protecting the interests of the rich rather than the fairness it promises to all? It becomes a game, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Now, here's the crucial question. Where does this go from here? Two paths, both uncertain. The first, the debtor pays up, maybe a settlement is reached, the property stays out of the auction block, and the case fades into the background. But there's a second, more likely path. The appeals drag on, the property sits in limbo, and if no resolution comes, that auction will happen. Months from now, yes, but it's the inevitable end if the debt stays unpaid. That auction, it's not just a financial transaction, it's a moment of reckoning. And in the middle of all this uncertainty, the next move is already being made. The question isn't what will happen, it's how long it will take before the next shoe drops. So here's the takeaway. What we're witnessing isn't just about a property or a single individual. It's a test of the entire system. If powerful people can get away with ignoring court judgments, what does that say about the future of civil justice? The law only works when it applies to everyone without exception. If that breaks down, the system fails us all. And here's the big question. Can we trust the system to hold everyone accountable, or is this just the beginning of a much bigger crisis? I'll be following every step of this case, so make sure you subscribe for the latest updates. If you think this is a problem that goes beyond just one case, leave a comment. Let's talk about how we can make the system work for everyone, not just the powerful.